Hey everyone, I'm Norn Queen Alexis and welcome back to the channel. Today we are petting Kovu. Yep, that is what we're doing. Look at this little guy. Look at him, he's so cute. Anyway, today's video is actually about something I've been asked quite often, which is, Alexis, I'm getting ready for a tournament. What do I need to bring? This is my guide to what to bring to a Warhammer tournament. The things that you don't think about that you need. Okay? There's quite a few things in here that you're going to need. And one of the first things is Monster Energy. No, I'm joking. You do need something to drink. Keep yourself hydrated while you're actually playing the event. And make sure you get plenty of sleep prior to the event. If you don't have enough sleep, you're going to be anxious and you're going to be making mistakes. Trust me, I do it a lot. The second thing you're going to need is, while having the app for GW is really good, I highly recommend that you bring your army's codex and, of course, your army. Double check your army, and if you are playing a swarm-based army and you've counted your 60 gaunts, your 60 navy breachers, your 60 guardsmen, put an extra 10 in there because you counted them wrong. And I guarantee you counted them wrong. I've done it multiple times where I've had to take a buddy space marine to run as just a guardsman or something because I miscounted. So after you double check your armies, make sure you triple check and then overpack. Because just having extra stuff is also really good in case you run into somebody who miscounted and needs something. And you can lend it to them and be a nice person. And tournament scenes tend to be like very nice, very caring people. They are playing at a very high skill level, but it doesn't mean that they're assholes. And yes, I do know that a lot of tournament players are genuinely just good and decent people, but there are a few vocal out there that are terrible and shitty people. I get that, but let's move on to what's in the box. So this is the 2014, I want to say. It's like the 2010s Warhammer 40k Special Edition dice box. You can only get this at like events and Forge World. Mine has seen some wear and tear, as you can tell. I use this thing quite a lot. It has fallen apart. But in it, I keep my dice tray, my measure sticks, my tape measure. Don't buy GW's tape measure. It fucking sucks. Like, it is the worst tape measure ever, and I think even this one is broken at this point. It tends to not lock in. Right now it's doing it because it knows that it's being recorded, but it tends not to lock in, and I always recommend that you bring 2 of these. My last one just broke. Make sure you put your initials on it. My last one broke. I only have 1 right now. I need to go to a hardware store and buy 2 more. So I can have proper ones instead of these ones. These ones are terrible. Go to your hardware store, go to a dollar store, go to a cheap store, buy a tape measure that's just better than GW's one. Because this one, while not even cool because it's just orange and black, it just kind of sucks. But recommend 2 tape measures right off the bat. Then we have our dice bag. This was given to me by a fan a long time ago and a friend by the name of, well, Rockstar Sanguinius. You guys know him for the Eldar body pillows and shit like that. And it is a really, really, really cool dice bag. And I've used this thing ever since it was given to me. And I've never not brought this to events, to games, to tournaments ever since I got it. So inside here, we're just going to dump this out. I keep 3 sets of dice. I play a lot of Heresy and a lot of 40k. So I do have things like scatter dice in here. These are not useful for 40k, but they are useful for, Heresy. So 3 different dice sets. I have the Sola Exilia dice set, I have the Genestealer Cult dice set, and I have the Emperor's Children or Slanesh Demon dice set. Then I have my markers. These help me just mark certain things, like if a tank... I do mark my opponent's vehicles as well when I'm playing. If my opponent's vehicle has hunter-killer missiles that are not magnetized, I tend to put these on them. Since these no longer have purpose anymore, because these are from older editions, I use these as markers for putting them on my opponent's vehicles Or if I'm using Space Marines, this will be Oath of Moment. So I have 6 different markers with 6 different chibis on them for events, and they're super useful. Just making sure that we have a whole bunch of things. Kovu, what are you doing? Don't. Kovu. I see you. What are you doing? Are you interested in this too? Do you want to play in a couple of tournaments? You do. Nah, he doesn't. He can't handle the pressure. He can barely handle the pressure of going outside. So, other dice that I always include is 5 spin down D20 and 2 D10s. So this is the assortment that I usually have. There's another one in here. And the reason that I do 5 D20s is I typically bring 5 greater demons to an event, and they each have 20 wounds. The 2 D10s are for command points. Kovu, why are you so fascinated with this? But these help me keep track of, important things. Wounds, mostly. Now, I do recommend the spin down counters instead of dice. Dice tend to, if you put them next to a model and you move the model, it tends to move, and then you could get, results that mess it up. You could use pieces of paper or other markers. My one buddy actually uses laminated, like these, where they're laminated, and then writes the wound counter on them when something takes wound. So if it has 20, dry erase marker, then erase it and write on it again. That's a much better idea, but I tend to just stick with my dice. So let's get this dice out of the way. This is going to take a minute. You'll notice that there's other markers in here, the Gene Stealer Cult ambush tokens from previous editions. There's a lot of dice in here. I also keep an even number of dice. I think I keep, I think it's 30 dice in total or something like that. I think I messed it up when I added the new dice set, but I used to keep 30 so I could just pick up all of my dice, know exactly what I need to roll when I need to roll it. So these markers are, again, things to help, like, pick out objectives, tell if something is morale broken, tell if something is crossfired, tell if something has used a stratagem that phase. I just use a bunch of different markers. I tell my opponent what they are, and then I place them next to the units that they're associated with. Really good if you're using like Armor of Contempt. You just toss this next to it. You know that that unit is Armor of Contempted. Your opponent also has visual confirmation that that unit is Armor of Contempted for the entire phase. So it just helps both players get through the game much quicker. Anyway, measure sticks. These things are super useful. I use the GW Whippy sticks because unlike normal measure sticks that people use, these ones can bend around corners, which is super useful for movement. And they're pretty easy to straighten back out. So I have 2 12-inch ones. I got to darken the numbers on this. These just make sure that charges are possible and make sure that we're 12 inches apart so charges cannot be declared. If this breaches over a model space, I know that that is an 11-inch charge. If they are outside of the 12 inches, I know that I cannot make that charge. Then we have, this one is a 9-inch measure stick. This one is, I have a few of these. I tend to have 3 of these. I don't know where the third one went, but these I place next to models so that I can deep strike or outflank or infiltrate next to units, and I have multiple ways of doing it. In fact, I tend to do things like this, where I can go, okay, now I know exactly where I can place my miniatures. It also helps with that one deployment where you have to be 9 inches away from the center. This makes it super easy. I can just place one of these in the middle and just move it around to make sure that my guys, girls, lads of the Imperium or Chaos or Xenos are, right where they need to be and get as close as possible because I prefer close combat armies. Then I have two 3-inch measure sticks. I have 2-inch measure sticks as well, but 3-inch measure sticks are super useful to just guarantee charges, make sure things are within range of each other. And then one 7-inch measure stick. This is to make men feel inadequate. I'm joking. That is a joke. But this is just for, purposes of checking charge distance, making sure things are far apart and, the like. A dice tray. You do need a dice tray. These make rolling so much easier because you and your opponent can just go, if it's not rolled in the dice tray, it doesn't count. And the dice tray prevents things from... Oh, yeah, now I'm recording you. Now you're just going to look away? Okay. But the dice tray prevents things from rolling and being cocked on terrain and things like that. I do have a rule that I typically tell my opponents. I try to tell my opponents before a game begins, where if a dice doesn't land without the ability to place another dice on top of it, it is cocked. So if it's leaning up against a piece of terrain, I can't do it in here, obviously. But if it's leaning up against a piece of terrain, we'll just use a couple of these. This dice could have technically kept rolling. So if a dice can't land on top of it without falling off, it is cocked and it is re-rolled. Discuss this with your opponent prior to playing. So dice trays, they end things. You can make these at home. It's just a little bit of wood, some felt fabric or whatever you want to put in the bottom. You don't have to. And then rubber stoppers at the bottom. Super easy to make. This is the GW one. I got this because I was at an event. And yeah, you can see the wear and tear on this thing. Wow, I never actually noticed how damaged this thing was. Years of rolling dice in it. Now I do carry more things in my box. I carry one copy of each base that's used in Warhammer. This is to make sure that units can get around corners now. And Kovu decided that this is his home. Kovu, I am trying to record. Kovu, hey, buddy, get out of there. Thank you. Oh, he got offended. But yeah, I make sure to try to keep a copy of every base in here, especially oval bases now with the new ruling. So I keep one copy of every base to make sure things can go where they need to, move how they need to without ever ending or starting in engagement range. So we have 32s, we have 40s, we have 50s, 60s, we have the 2 oval bases. We don't have the night base in here. I do have an extra copy of it. I just don't have it in this box right now. I think we were using it for something, to measure something earlier. 25 mils are always important to have as well. It's almost 1 inch. 50 mil, a 60 mil. The paper ones really come in handy because these take up no room. And if they're damaged, I don't care. 100 mil. 100 mil is a lot smaller than you think. And a lot of people forget this, especially when measuring. Because demons no longer, even if they hang off their base, they no longer just need to move so that their model moves through. They just need their base to move. And their base is the only thing that matters when it comes to checking engagement range. Then I have my giant pie plate. This was given to me by my buddy Lee. This is what my tank in 30K shoots. It shoots the inner circle, this circle right here. And yeah, these things are really useful. They're useful for 30K, not 40K. Same with the other templates. They're useful for other GW games, but I always keep them in there. And if you ever need a measure stick, this thing is 8 inches by 2.5 inches. So it's super useful. Are you quite done being sassy over there? Oh, no, you're not. Okay. You're just going to be cute? Is this how we're ending the video? With you being adorable? I know you want me to rub your tummy and then you want to attack my hand. Watch. I know it. I'm rubbing your tummy. Are you going to attack my hand? No. No, he wants more tummy rubs. Yo. There's the attack. Oh, he's giving kisses there. But yeah, this is what I bring to every Warhammer event. It comes in handy. It all fits in one little box. And I could throw this in a backpack. I can throw this... funny enough, if you actually do use these, you just throw it right in the bottom here or on top of it. And take it with you. So yeah, I hope this helped you decide how to pack your stuff for a tournament. And you just found something useful with this video. And if you did, comment down below. If you think I forgot something in my travel case, for tournaments and things like that. Don't say the army. Don't say the army. I know people could be like, Alexis, what about the army? A tee-hee. I hope that's a comment. I really hope that's a comment. But I really hope that you guys found this useful. This is also good for like any type of game that's tabletop related. Like War Machine. Oh, sorry, no one plays that. Mech Warrior. I don't remember the other one. That's it. You know, the GW games. Okay, anyway, I hope you found something of value out of this video. If you did, tell me down below. As always, I'm Northern Queen Alexis. I have a Patreon. Check it out if you want. I love you guys. Bye.